You're pulsing through me. The blood is rushing and I am trusting you'll come save me. My knees are feeling weak. Your body's close to me. I want you to
KGL Facebook page. So we should probably post the stream. Wow. You guys should probably post the stream like go to it. You guys should probably post the stream.
They need to flip, don't they? Can't I make him lobby leader? Can't I make him lobby leader?
Week. Also need to check teams week.
won't you come and rescue me?
My mic is not on. Okay. Exactly what
Who told me? Excuse me? It's probably just workshop.
My knees are feeling weak. Your body's close to me. I want you.
Actually, as a DD, they're gonna man mode it. Look at how much. Oh, actually, they can't cancel the Legion Commanders over on yours. Dodo then gets the hook shot onto Donnie as well. Is it enough damage though? The Sonic Sword comes out, they burst down the chin. Debbie gets out the big Requiem now as well.
Then what happened was, as we started sieging, they obviously TP'd back because we would have taken our racks a lot quicker than they would have, so they were forced to react to us. And then the plan was to slow siege, and then obviously you see the Sand King went in and initiated, and then we were all forced into a fight, which they ended up winning.
This is the important tower to get. Top tower's gonna fall. Oh, actually, looks like they want to defend. Nice two-man. Wow. Hook shot from Dora and Die. Gets the cogs now as well. TKC Dodo comes in. Followed up by Sonic Wave as well. Deppy, he's ticking down low. Epicenter on the ready now. Can he do damage? Santo starting to tick down now as well. Actually, as a DD, they're gonna man mode it. Look at how much. Oh, actually, they can't cancel the Legion Commanders over on yours. Dodo then gets the hook shot onto Donnie as well. Is it enough damage though? The Sonic Sword comes out, they burst down the chin. Debbie gets out the big Requiem now as well.
Then what happened was, as we started sieging, they obviously TP'd back because we would have taken our racks a lot quicker than they would have, so they were forced to react to us. And then the plan was to slow siege, and then obviously you see the Sand King went in and initiated, and then we were all forced into a fight, which they ended up winning.
This is the important tower to get. Top tower's gonna fall. Oh, actually, looks like they want to defend. Nice two-man. Wow. Hook shot from Dora and Die. Gets the cogs now as well. TKC Dodo comes in. Followed up by Sonic Wave as well. Deppy, he's ticking down low. Epicenter on the ready now. Can he do damage? Santo starting to tick down now as well.
What
Welcome back. It's the serious business of the day. We're going to go through to the group stages of this fantastic event, the KGL LAN, and I believe they have a saying for today in specific. You know what it is, right?
I have no idea, Wilson.
Well, it's the 4th of May.
I've never heard of this date before, in fact.
Oh, you know this. Nah. Apparently what we're supposed to say is, may the 4th be with you. But it's been a very eventful day, and I'm not entirely sure I want to go down that road. But a road I do want to go down, since we are having a few technical issues with the teams, and that's why we're experiencing this delay, is the current meta. Now, you and I had an extensive discussion about
Lifestealer and
items,
Radiance.
Lifestealer, Radiance, that sort of stuff.
What's funny
Do you
was
see,
we
do you
really
see
had
these
a-
kind of trends coming out in this particular tournament?
So, I mean, it's a very good question, right? Now, I think to give everyone a little bit of perspective here, you might see behind us, if you look closely, there's a big Sin 5 logo, etc.
Yeah.
But it's not really the spirit of this event to have like one side that would likely come out here, pretty much crush every. For those who don't know, Sin 5 it's their home ground, right? They are a Bloom side. So I expect to see a lot more fun to be had here. Actually, I don't expect these guys to be taking it particularly seriously. I would imagine with the side we're going to be casting next, that includes Dota and Die, we will probably see a good draft come out, but probably not something that is super serious. Probably see people like, what do you feel like playing of the good heroes kind of perspective. And there are so many good heroes, so I think we'll see a lot of different heroes in this particular tournament.
Yeah.
But I think for the sides that are newer, that are younger sides, they're playing a little more casually, we'll probably see some really interesting and crazy stuff. And I doubt we'll see anything that is particularly like faithful to what the current meta is. So I imagine there's some Dota Plus guys out there that are going to be following some of their favorite guides.
Yeah.
And it'll be a lot of that, but it'll be a lot of fun. And as you mentioned, I think that we spoke quite a bit about, that in depth about Radiance and Lifestealer, right? And it was literally a conversation we had over.
Well, yes. Well, sorry to cut you off, but it seems
let's
as though
start.
our technical issues have managed to sort themselves out after the extensive efforts of the glorious guys backstage. And, thanks to them, we are now in the drafting phase of this match. Now, you were about to say, Lifestealer, Radiance. I'm sure you can segue into this
It was
one
a
as
really
well.
long way of saying that it's so intricate at this point. There's a huge amount you can discuss, even over the smallest of details.
We could sit there talking about it for hours and hours and hours on end, but we don't have hours, I'm afraid, because Tinker and Spirit Breaker have already been banned out of this match.
So that's pretty interesting. I think that the Tinker is probably a respect ban directed at Dota and Die. I don't know if he would actually play Tinker at this event.
He's not particularly strong at this point, is he?
I wouldn't say Tinker.
I heard he was nerfed. quite hard.
Tinker's always going to have a place in Dota just because of the way that the hero functions.
Okay.
The fact that you have that global presence, there will always be a game where Tinker is useful. But I think in this case, it's just because Dota and Die is a player who's very well known for his Tinker. He's very well known in this area for his Tinker, and they don't want absolutely no part of it. As for the other bans, like Sand is a very solid ban. Bounty Hunter, would also say is right up there, and of course wrapping it up with Spirit Breaker. Probably a little less so, but probably something that they just don't feel like dealing with. And I think there's a little bit of a trend in those two bans where there are two heroes that will get around the map quite a bit and be generally frustrating.
So, for those of you who are staring at what is basically my screen, you'll see Rhyming with Dapo is playing as the Radiant, and the Dire is actually Team 5. Unfortunately, because of the technical issues, they have not been able to put that name on up there. So just keep that in mind. Team 5 will be playing on the Dire side, and they've banned out that Night Stalker. Now, that makes a lot of sense to me because vision is always key, and there's no hero that dampens the vision of your opponents than a Night Stalker himself.
I gotta say, actually, the ban of the Sanking and the Night Stalker is quite reasonable. That's an educated ban, I would say. It's not something that I would really think twice about it. If I saw it in any level of competition, they're two very successful heroes at the moment, two very popular heroes at the moment. Abaddon also being banned out now. Once again, I kind of get the feeling that they're banning out heroes that will be generally frustrating. And it's interesting to see the first pickup here. It's going to be Bane, which we had a very interesting conversation about.
Yeah, so if you guys caught the match before this one, it was an exhibition match, and Bane was one of our selections as a possible as a possible carry. Nonetheless, here we are. Nature's Prophet and Tusk will be picked up by the side for rhyming with Dapo. And that's Dota and Die's side. Do you think Dota and Die is going to be picking up that Nature's Prophet, or is that somebody else is just going to be roaming around and split pushing?
Well, the first thing we need to establish is what role is Dota and Die actually playing here. So, once again, if you missed the very
He's
early
played it
starts-
before, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, sure. It's more just a case of you're very happy.
Yes.
It's just a case of we don't know where he fits in this team. Obviously, he being arguably the strongest player on his side here, and the most experienced player on this particular side, there's a very good chance he'll just slot in where it's needed, letting other people play the roles they're more comfortable in. I doubt we'll be seeing him play 5 position, but almost certainly we can expect him to do some interesting stuff. But let's chat about these opening picks so far. So Nature Prophet and Tusk in response to the Bane and Witch Doctor. Obviously, very happy with the Witch Doctor and Bane. I'm very interested to see if that's going to be a bit of a cheese strat. We see these two heroes laning together. Just sleep somebody, drop the Maledict on top of them, and have something.
I think we're out of the exhibition stage of this.
Well, you see,
that's a little silly.
I don't know about that, because although Bane is not an uncommon hero, he would certainly be something that is easy to set up. And I think that what a lot of these sides will try to do is have easy to execute combinations in the laning stage, and that hopefully have synergy later on. So I wouldn't be surprised, in fact, if we see Bane Witch Doctor lane at all, and something that's got a little bit of bursty levels of damage accompanying it. So try to isolate one player and then bring him down and try to get some control in the laning stage.
Okay. All right. Well, the Tusk. I mean, he's always performed. I say always. He's always performed that roaming role, with a nice element of nuke damage in the form of his Walrus kick. No, sorry, Walrus punch.
Just see Falcon punches people.
Yeah,
I actually think he's a really nice pickup here against the Bane. Obviously,
I like it.
He's got the ability to save heroes very easily with Snowball, especially once he picks up the likes of a Blink Dagger. So I think we might see that quite a few times in this matchup, and a very easy way to do it. Obviously, also has the disable, so if he can go on top of the Bane, nice easy disable there. But he's probably gonna have to save that for the Witch Doctor. I think you already go for the save. Maybe you really play it big, and you find yourself in a situation where both Bane and Witch Doctor are ulting, and you go in with the save, and you roll it onto the Witch Doctor, and then you get a high five from your team, and somebody hands you a beer.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the bans are coming out now. It's gonna be the Gyrocopter taken out for the side of rhyming with Dapo, making a lot of sense here. Don't want to have a Gyrocopter when you're up against when a Nature's Prophet is being fielded by your team, because A, he clears out all those treants, and B, that rocket is a serious problem for the Nature's Prophet when he tries to tree himself out and TP on out. He will be joined, however, by the likes of the hard nuking Lion with the Finger of Death, and Legion Commander will be joining the side of Team 5 here. Legion Commander, interesting pickup with this lineup. Not a bad idea. So far, so good, but it does concern me because Legion Commander tends to weaken out if she doesn't snowball, ironically, early in the stages of the game, and doesn't get those early duel victories. If she does manage to get those early duel victories, then she becomes a problem.
Bet you we're going to see a fantastic sleep duel, by the way.
Yeah, it's bound to happen.
It's just one of those things. You have Legion Commander and Bane. They're going to just.
But they're on the same side.
No, because you'll get the sleep as the Legion blinks in, and then everyone's just going to be having a nap. But I also want to point out the bans so far by the
Team 5.
By the rhyming with Dapo lineup.
Yes.
They've actually been very directed towards the Nature's Prophets and defensively. As you can see, Spirit Breaker, Bounty Hunter, and Pit Lord or Underlord, the 3 heroes that are very good at dealing with Nature's Prophet, getting your team around, you just surprise gang on your head, etc. So obviously they're trying to prioritize that in a big way, and I imagine this will be core to their lineup. But now we've got the Juggernaut and the Chaos Knight.
I love this Chaos Knight pickup, I gotta be honest. I'm really enjoying it. Not going to do too well against the Tusk, but just about anything else is going to be in serious trouble if he gets his claws on him.
Yeah, CK is pretty strong. I mean, if he gets... there's a very old adage, it hasn't changed, that CK has the potential of doing the highest one-shot damage in the game. If he hits Phantasm with Reality Rift and gets his crit off, you are pretty much broken. What's interesting about this lineup as well is they have a lot of single focus in an almost awkward way. There's no Laguna Blades coming out or anything like that, but you got obviously the raw power of the Chaos Knight that's going to Reality Rift and potentially Chaos Bolt somebody for 4 seconds. You have the Legion Commander who's going to sit on one person. Bane focuses one person.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting to see all of that, and I'm interested to see how they actually plan on making this work for them.
In fact, the only team fight element sitting for the side of Team 5 is that Witch Doctor, and like you say, it's an interesting note to keep in mind. But let's take a look at the final bans. This ban here from Team 5, very quick, very decisive. So the Viper was taken out by Rhyming with Dapper, and the Medusa taken out by the side of Team 5. Medusa is almost obligatory as a ban if you're going to be fielding a CK. Why? Because, well, between her ultimate and if she picks up Ags, that Serpent, your CK is going to really struggle to make full use of his illusions.
I think it's a fair ban. Interesting to see the Viper being banned out here by Rhyming Dapper. I'm interested to see what they're actually going for here, because one would imagine this is an off-lane LC, safe lane CK with the Bane and Witch Doctors in the supporting roles. So
we're looking for a mid.
They could potentially do that as an aggressive try, just pointing that out. But going up against a Jug is always a little bit challenging in that regard. But I do think we are looking for a mid from both sides, unless the Jug goes mid for Rhyming with Dapper. But that does obviously give the advantage Rhyming with Dapper, because they're going to have the option to counter-pick it. I don't think what's actually what the big options in the pool is at the moment. Obviously, I think the Shrek still in. That's quite cancerous, to be perfectly honest. We've got the DP, Odie as well, and I think those are probably the big ones in my mind right now, at the very least. So, I mean, DP is really hard to beat, but doesn't. I mean, it kind of works in the weirdest way, because they have the single focus, and you can almost force somebody into fights. To see if they agree with me, they're going to go for the Wind Ranger.
Wind Ranger. Now, there's something I haven't seen in a bit. Flown mid, unless she's not going mid. Are we changing our minds here?
No, I think it's still going to be. I think that might be a mid Wind Ranger. I don't know. That's pretty peculiar, actually. It wasn't the pick that I was thinking of. But all these heroes have a single target focus. So it's a little bit awkward in team fight, because you're somewhat expecting to have to pick off person by person by person by person.
The other concern here is that the side of Team 5 have opted for a draft that pushes quite hard. The CK illusions do a lot of tower damage, as well as the Wind Ranger with that focus fire. If she does manage to get close enough, she can tear a tower to shreds very, very quickly, if she's built, obviously, for the right-click damage.
It's a fair comment, and also worthy of noting that there's actually quite a significant amount of heal from Team 5 at the moment. You obviously have the Bane Brain Sap, which is useful. It's not obviously like a heal for the team, but can keep him in the fight. And Witch Doctor and Legion Command obviously do have 2 handy heals as well. So they could, in fact, try. I wouldn't say this is a push draft, but maybe more so as like you get a pick off, and then you immediately try to take an objective. And that would be the way they would want to take this.
Well,
sponsor Shadow Fiend, okay.
Yeah,
I mean, Shadow Fiend's a really good answer to that, obviously.
By virtue of the nuke damage he does with his Shadow Razors.
Yeah, it's one thing they were kind of missing to a degree. They had the Tusk as well as the Lion who could deal with Razors coming in. Excuse me, waves coming in. Yeah. But the Razors here are even better, so don't die. It looks like he will be mid. He's going to be obviously trying to farm this up. I kind of feel like this might go a little bit. This might be a short game.
In favor of whom?
In favor of Rhyming with Dapper. The one thing to know is that you have Juggernaut, who's a fighting carry. You have the Shadow Fiend, who is a flash farmer. You have the Nature's Prophet, who could be played hyper aggressively and just be all around the map constantly. And if you do go ahead in this lineup, you actually are in a similar position to the one we discussed with Team 5, where you will be totally equipped to bring down towers very quickly. You're going to have the Nature's Call from the Nature's Prophet. You're going to have just the pure right-clicking damage from the Shadow Fiend, and you have the healing ward up from the Juggernaut. That's going to keep everybody nice and safe.
Yeah. So we did mention earlier, we described this as the giant bowl, the proving grounds. And in the spirit of those proving grounds, we're going to be taking a look at the heroes and whose hands they are played in. So, without any further ado, I'm going to take you through the side of the Radiant, and that's Dapo Mid-Ganko will be playing the Tusk. I love these names. Charlamander Man will be picking up that Nature's Prophet, headed towards the top lane. Dota and Dai, who had a stellar performance in his appearance as Crystal Maiden carry in our... Exhibition match, thank you. He will be going towards the mid lane as that Shadow Fiend. Dapo, where on the Mappo will be playing that Lion towards the bottom lane. I love these names. And Dapo is Farmo, will definitely be the Juggernaut.
I wonder what he plans to do this matchup.
No, he's
The
definitely
Quelling
fighting.
Bait is queued, in fact, so I think Dapper might be in for a farm. We might actually have a little bit of aggression going on top here. There's 2-on-2. You don't actually really win this. You obviously just have potentially the Nightmare coming out, and you're going to be isolated here. But I don't think we're going to see a fight, so let's go ahead and introduce the side of the Dire or Team Fly. It's going to be Naka on the Bane. He's going to be supporting up live on the Chaos side. Interesting to see they have in fact looked like they're opting for dual lanes, but I think this might just be for the runes. Speaking of
They must contest, otherwise they're giving away that extra gold.
it's really interesting that they've actually opted out of this one. I think that with the Nightmare, potentially you take this quite easily. But anyways, top lane we actually do see engagement here, and there's going to
Bottom
be a
lane as
swing
well.
coming out from the Juggernaut. Did they actually
Oh my god, no.
snatch it? Did they snatch
No,
both?
they've gotten all 4 bounty runes. That's a 1,000 gold or so net worth lead.
That is
really, really significant. That's something to worry about.
I've actually never seen that before. I've never
did
seen
they
that
get that
before.
right?
That's
So
something
they're all
that,
sitting more or less 200 gold ahead of their opponents now.
yeah, that is pretty much the worst case scenario that you can imagine from a game start. I mean, bar like having an actual team wipe, that is worst case scenario. And it does look like they're going to commit to these dual lanes. They've got a good chance to actually finish introducing them, but very, very quickly we're going to have Jigsaw 135 on the Witch Doctor. He's going to be supporting the Legion Commander played for Johnny Boy, and last but not least in the mid lane we'll have Suicide Panda. Okay.
So how difficult is this lane for Suicide Panda here?
It's actually not that bad. I think that Wind Ranger could do quite well here. It's a lot harder to hit races on a Wind Ranger than it is to hit a Power Shot on a Shadow Fiend. And Shadow Fiend's also very, very capable of being ganged early on in this game. And they do have the right kind of heroes to do so.
Look at that damage. Yeah, Dota and Die does need to be a little bit careful because Suicide Panda isn't exactly tickling at the moment and is happy to take whatever pot shots she can just to bring him down a little bit weaker. Towards the bottom lane, though, the farm is likely to swing in the favor of the side of Dapo as the stun comes through. Legion Commander finding himself in a spot of trouble. The spin is good enough, and it's enough to take him down. Jigsaw might be joining him in the grave, and that was your first blood. This could be your second. Jigsaw trying to... Oh, Juke, he actually went the other way. It's a good one. I think Dapper did spot him on the way through, though. Yes, he did. He's giving chase. The TP coming through. He does spot him. 1 right click, but not 2 or 3, and it's not enough to take him down. Towards the mid lane, however, it looks like Suicide Panda took a piece out of Dota and Die, and Dota and Die needs to be a little bit more careful there in the mid lane. That nuke damage from Power Shot is quite significant.
Yeah, we just see the whoops come out there. That's not a death you should have. There's no shackle shot, nobody helping out in the lane. Definitely not. By the way, just don't quote me on this, or don't remind me of this if I'm wrong. But
yeah,
just to show how close that bottom lane was, Dabo's farmer actually looked like he was doing the animation for a crit. And if he had that on that second hit, you actually would have got the second kills also. That would have been an absolutely tragic start. But this lane is already severely nerfed now. It's an interesting thing. It's like the double heal concept going on in this bottom lane, just a lot of pressure you can apply with that. But, oh, sorry, top lane we see? No.
There's just a bit of laning nonsense. Obviously, Live trying to maximize his farm, trying to get a little bit of love in the jungle here. But it does mean that good old Bane is left more or less alone. Yeah. Negating all the right-click damage that Tusk could possibly do with that Enfeeble early in the game. Very strong skill Enfeeble, especially if you're going to pick it up early in the game and level it early in the game. But you do lose out in terms of disable in the form of the Nightmare. I don't know, it's a bit of tit for tat. In the bottom lane, though, it looks like Johnny Boy almost goes down again. This is an incredibly dangerous lane for him by the looks of things.
Yeah, he's actually farming pretty nicely comparatively. Obviously, the death really hurts, but he seems to be getting some farm. And the biggest problem is they actually were quite close to bringing down. I'm not sure if it was the Juggle or the line. They're both low, but I think Juggle was quite low. He was quite close to death. So unfortunately for them, they weren't able to come in that kill. It would be a big one. I think one of the biggest issues right now is this top lane is actually just not going well at all. We have only 8 CS on the CK, but more importantly, we have 16 up on Charlemagne's Nature's Prophet, which is... Yeah, this is your safe lane, right? This is where you're supposed to... And in fact, he might actually be in a lot of trouble. He gets caught up by the ice shards and needs to be brought down.
Wrong place to stand, yep. Caught out by the ice shards of the very keen eye of that Tusk Dapo mid-ganko. And that's the price you pay. That is definitely the price you pay for a little bit of sloppiness. He did want to get that last hit, like you were saying. This is your safe lane. He needs to get last hits. And I feel like he had this burning desire that, listen, I actually need desperately to get this last hit, otherwise I really am getting nothing. But it did end up costing him his life, so not really worth it in the end. The good news, though, for the fans of Team 5 out there is that Suicide Panda is not doing too badly here. He's sitting third on the CS chart as Dapo, where on the Mappo does manage to secure himself a kill on the Witch Doctor in the bottom lane as well.
Yeah,
So that's the only lane that's going okay for the side of Team 5.
well, about that, they might be in a little bit of trouble. He's got the irritation
his
coming
name.
from Dapo. He does have the eye shots. This is actually really frustrating for him. He does get the shackle shot off, though. But he's still going to take damage. Tusk is just, he's a bully, and he's going to do that. And the biggest issue is he can, he's actually caught the dragons. This is a problem, and Suicide Panda likes it. Goes in the snowball. He times well, he can get the power shot kill. Opts not to do it. All time turn around and do so, but he gets caught up by Charlemagne Man. Nice shackle connects, though. Suicide Panda is able to back off. I'm sad he didn't just wind up the power shot and just, it's the insta-give kill. It would have been nice, but he gets killed all the same.
Yeah, I think definitely worth it, and definitely well played, honestly. I mean, you've just picked up yet another kill for your mid hero, and that's the one lane you really need to keep going well on. Out comes the shackle. It's beautiful. It does actually connect onto a tree, but I don't think she saw it. Otherwise, she would have bum rushed on in with the use of the wind run that she had already used and dropped a level 3 power shot. That should have been enough to kill off Dota and die for the second time here in the mid lane. They really need to make a lot happen here in the mid lane for Suicide Panda if Team 5 hopes to win it, because at the moment they're losing top, bottom, and in terms of just last hits and denies, mid is starting to falter as well.
The problem here as well is that Sheriffine doesn't actually need to win mid per se. You can see he's got these big stacks up in the jungle here, and he's just going to keep stacking them up and racking them up, and eventually he's just going to, do this. And he will be just, you can see he's already just skyrocketed up to 31 CS. He's completely butchering the Suicide Panda in last hits now. And that's a bit of a pity, because I think Suicide Panda was actually playing really well. Don't Die is not a pushover by any stretch of the imagination. So there's one good thing going for him.
Caught with his pants down again is the Witch Doctor in the bottom lane. Johnny Boy can do nothing but drop an overwhelming odds to try and dissuade them, but to no avail as Juggernaut walks away with yet another kill. Sorry, that's actually Lion walking away with that kill on that Witch Doctor. This bottom lane in need of some dire assistance, forgive the pun, but something must be done here.
Not the best stun coming out from Lion there, but by the way, something I just wanted to point out from earlier on, Charlemagne Man, he got phase boots really quick in this top lane, and that's what's punishing this CK so much. He's dealt with the harsh reality of it's hard to last it up against the Innate Prophet, who has that extra bit of damage from phase boots, but he's also going to be able to punish you when you do try to come forward to last it. So you're going to have to do the dance, and even if he does, it's a case of he's doing less damage and he doesn't have the range advantage. So it's quite a nightmare for him here, and you have the Holy Trinity being achieved here, where your top 3 last hits in the game under 10 minutes are all going the way of the Dota and Die squad. I'm forgetting the name.
Rhyming with Dapo? The clue's in the name, dude.
Rhyming with Dapo.
They're all Dapos of one kind or another for the most part, actually.
Except for Dota and Die, because he's try hard.
Dota and Die and Charlemagne Man. Charlemagne Man, out comes the TP. It's good, it's going to be on Jigsaw, and they're actually going to catch Johnny Boy as well. That's not 1, but 2 deaths. Out comes the Healing Ward to nullify the damage from the Maledict on Juggernaut, and that is a 2-for-0 exchange. 6-2 at 8 minutes into this game, with a 3k net worth lead is Dapo, and they are having a whale of a time here. The only lane doing okay here for the side of Team 5 is mid. Suicide Panda throwing out that focus fire to try and trade Tier 1 towers. Bottom for mid, that's the call, and I'm not sure if this is going to work out. No glyph available for the side of the Dire now. They're going to have to do something. Out comes the spin from Dapo's Farmer. Juggernaut is going to pick up a right click or 2 for his efforts, but it's all fine and dandy as the tower does go down. Oh, but they managed to catch. Finally. Catch the Lion and take him down as a nice little consolation prize. They did not walk away with Tier 1 tower mid, but they walked away with at least a little bit of something, and that Lion desperately needed to die. Why? Because he's level 5, almost 6.
Yeah, no, that's actually not to be taken lightly. One thing is just to draw your attention to is the cooldown on Lion's ultimate is quite significant.
Spectacular, yeah.
He goes down 40 seconds, starts at 160, right? So when Lion gets a head of steam ahead of him, he's going to be able to get around the map, get the first pick off when he gets to level 6, where he's just going to burst somebody down. And he'll just progressively build off that to become more and more of a nuisance. So if he does get that level 6 early, he could be quite a problem. And he's headed to the top lane, so I'm sure he's up to no good.
Johnny Boy looking for his level 6. If he had it, the nice duel would have done very well there. Nonetheless, out he goes, the Coconut, nothing to bounce to, which means good old Juggernaut manages to get on out. Lion now opting to go to the top lane, picking up some solo XP and finishing off that Finger of Death we were just talking about. Long cooldown, huge nuke, but worth it if you manage to walk away with something in the bag for the first section of the game. Then the talent tree comes to life, and you're going to be looking probably for that 120 gold per minute. Towards the bottom lane, Juggernaut walks away with a duel, not a duel victory, but a nice
that would be
Omni
quite
slash.
something, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're going to have a little man fight here. Johnny actually coming off ahead of this thanks to the moment of courage. Actually, entering ball he's gone for here, you would kind of expect him to prioritize overwhelming odds. But the only one level means he's not actually able to put as much pressure on.
Top lane finally live, comes alive and manages to walk away with a kill onto that Tusk, and now he's going to go for his second kill onto Nature's Prophet. But guess who pitched up on front for the back line? It's going to be Dota and Die walking away with not one but two Shadow Razors, and it's good enough to secure the kill there. Beautifully done. 9-4, 6k net worth lead, 10 minutes in, and the net worth graph definitely reflecting the state of the game. Top of the charts is going to be that Juggernaut. Second is that Nature's Prophet, who's been farming a glorious mountain of gold towards the top lane. And third, but certainly not least, is also on the side of Dapo, Dota and Die, the mid-hero. So all three lanes in a spot of trouble here for the side of Team 5.
This is just getting
Legion.
worse, though.
Yep, Legion caught with his pants down. Out comes the Finger. Duel, not a good idea at this point. Out comes the Coconut, nothing to bounce to. In comes the Tusk from the right-hand side. Down will go the Witch Doctor. And another 2 kills going the way of Dapo. 11-4 now. Things are getting very, very drastic. Very, very frantic for the side of Team 5. They need to cool things down. Calm down the pace of the game. Don't play into the hands of Dapo. And just take a breather. Make cool, calm decisions. I feel like they're starting to fray at the edges a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah. I think this game is... It's in a state of despair right now. It's just, there's no luck as well. I mean, the top kill onto Live CK, he actually used Phantasm, which has a 140-second cooldown. So, he uses it, now he's pretty much unable to go into the offensive for the most part, and you can just see that the response here by Rhymes with Dapo is just go push harder, and they have the perfect heroes to do it. The Wind Ranger in the backline is probably getting caught out. Wilson, take it away.
Yep, Wind Ranger in a spot of trouble there. The mid Ganko is not too far away. He's going to try and get his second Ice Shards, I suspect, if he survives, but there's just too much backup for him. Looks like the Wind Ranger is going to hit the deck again. She tried a damn fine fight, but the star player for the side of Team 5 does go down eventually. That means this Tier 2 tower here will be hitting the deck as well, only increasing the net worth lead from 8k to 9k at this 12-minute mark. And again, they need to just woosa down, boys. Just cool down the pace of the game. The slower it goes, the better it is for the side of Team 5 for the time being. Sure, it's never going to be stellar, because that Juggernaut has one hell of a springboard to play from. But they certainly need to just cool things down and try to maximize their farm as best as possible with the space they have left. Towards the mid lane, Suicide Panda, there's the roll, sorry. It looks like out comes another nuke, and it's all done and dusted. Dota and I walks away with yet another kill. That's a very, very quick death succession for Suicide Panda, and that seriously aggravates his net worth.
He was a great spell.
Nakar. Sorry, you're never going to get the chance to talk at this rate. Nakar nuked on down the sleep, ultimately pointless. No nightmares for him. In comes Dota and Dine. Beautiful ulti onto Live. Mops up his illusions. He goes for the most amazing charge, and there's a good damn... Oh, doesn't quite manage. The duel doesn't quite manage to take down Tusk, and they got absolutely nothing out of that. That ended up being a 5-for-nothing exchange, because they bum rushed and chased Dapo mid Ganko and Charlemander Man as far as they could go.
And hitting walls out, so they're not even getting anything else for this. They're all going to be absolutely... They're going to be healthy and happy, maybe considering, buying some shares in Kawhi. Just healthy. They're going for a jog together. They're bonding as a team. This is good. So finally, I get to say it, hopefully. But one thing is
Wait
I'm
for
ready.
it. Nope, you don't. I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing. Chaos Knight TP's on in to what is most certainly his very quick and untimely end there behind the tier 2 tower in the top lane. And there are no exterior towers left for the side of Team 5 at this 14-minute mark.
So Wilson, here's the problem, right?
Whatever you have to say it quick.
Johnny Boy is going to get Omni Slash, and I can't talk. Okay, never mind.
Oh,
Was that a full Omni
Boy.
Slash? Anyways, so I'm going to say it, and it's going to be great. See, Johnny Boy only has 2 levels and overwhelming odds, right? When a team pushes up like this and they're all together, you do such an enormous amount of damage with this ability. But because he's opted to go into Moment of Courage, he just doesn't have the ability to burst down. But more alarmingly is that they don't have a way to defend because they're relying on the power shot as well as that overwhelming odds to actually get these creep waves down. And they don't have it at the moment. So he's desperately running around the map like, gotta get this. But every time he moves out of base, he's just being shut down. And you can see that they've warded up very defensively already, trying to get some vision of what's going on here. But there's equally aggressive wards coming out from the side of Rhymes with Dapper.
Rhymes with Dapper, yeah.
So they're being squeezed out of this one. And it's kind of like watching, I don't know, let's go there, Darth Vader just choke the life out of an opponent.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to watch, but surely there's a play they can do, something they can do to... Thank you. Maybe
Star
there's
Wars
something
Day.
that they can do to get on out of this
Darth Vader's
dire
Star-
situation. Power on through, man. Power on through. Oh, Johnny boy, the pipes, they're calling.
I wish the camera was see because they're physically leaning into making it worse.
Yeah.
Always the professional Wilson. Yeah, this game's done. Soz.
Really?
Yeah, this game's
Nothing
done.
they can do. It's a 17k net worth lead, but there's still high ground to play. And I've heard it said that high ground is worth as much as a completely separate hero altogether in a 5v5 fight. It's basically 6v5.
Do you know what else is worth a completely separate hero?
Yes,
When
an
when
Aegis.
all your cores have double the gold as all their cores at 16 minutes.
Look, man, I hope springs eternal in the hearts of fools, okay?
Side of the yep.
So Live has to back on off. The nuke damage is starting to come on through onto that tower. The coconut's good in the background. Not going to connect onto anything else. Oh, but a nice little Fiend's Grip on the sidelines there. But there is that snowball you were talking about. A beautiful save into a beautiful combination. Dodo and Dai is here. And he takes down 3, followed by Shalamanderman's kill. Depo is Farmo. And nicely done indeed, dear Tusk. That is the way it is done. That is how you support as a Tusk. And GG, well played, is quite rightly called at not even 20 minutes in. This was really short best of 1 series.
That just happened.
Yes, that did just happen. Well,
Yeah.
so where to from here? If you're sitting on the side of Team 5, what do you do different? Mid lane was doing pretty well for themselves. They were doing okay. Comes the stun. It's good. It's going to connect onto Tusk. Tusk actually gets nuked on down by that power shot. Dota and Dai still there in the middle of it all with very little HP. The downside is he's got another life to go. Dapo, his farmer, is there as well. Out comes the spin, getting good damage onto Live. Live trying to get on out of there. The Witch Doctor drops down behind his heels. Dota and Dai makes an appearance. Throws out that final little nuke there. Takes him down. Nakor next to go on down to the... to the all-you-can-eat buffet, which is the side of Team 5 at the moment.
A second
Not
place
much
is a
analysis.
lovely place to aim for at this point. So, you know where we go to from here? We just explain. So, let's chat about the bracket, right? Because I think that this is a good time to do so.
Yeah.
These sides will be playing BO1, so they're 16s. All 16s will play in a BO1, and they will be seeded into basically an upper bracket and a low bracket going forward. So, let's say you want to win as many of your first games as possible. That didn't happen for this team, unfortunately. And I'm sorry, but you know it. And I don't mean to be harsh, particularly because you're talking about some guys that are out here having a good time, etc.
Yeah.
So I hope they enjoyed it.
Well, I'm sure it was a learning experience, and that's kind of what I was asking. Like, what's the learning experience they walk away with here?
Suicide Panda is your best play.
Fair enough. Well, that's it from myself, Wilson, and good old Halberd here. We will be back, I think, with one more match. It's either Dota or CSGO. Do stay tuned to find out, and I'll let you guys know. Cheerio for now. Right, well, we've just had a nice big long chat with our tournament organizers. It turns out there won't be any more Dota or CSGO for us to put on the stream for tonight. But worry not, everything will be coming around tomorrow. That's the plan anyway. Nonetheless, we've gotten a good glimpse of what's in store for us tomorrow.
Are you not freezing?
I am. I'm absolutely.
It is
freezing.
cold here. It is cold here.
Very cold.
The glimpse was that this is a freezing place, and that is the scary thing. It's like actually, everyone from Bloom is like walking around with
shorts and slops.
Nice,
and
nice.
I'm sitting in a jacket going, damn.
A nice summer day, and I'm literally just sitting here shivering, and I'm like, keep it together. Yeah, but you know, the exhibition match was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it. We saw some.
We got to see some nice individual skills from individual players in that exhibition match. We saw some now in this very quick, got to be honest, 28-6, 18-minute game. Sorry, 18. I had to do a double check because that's how short it is. 18 minutes and 28 seconds for this best of one. Now, this best of one was just to sort out the group stages. Now, obviously, while we were casting this one, the other teams were playing their own best of one, and we just cherry-picked one that we thought might be of interest, following Dota
Certainly
and
was
Dai
interesting.
and Suicide Panda. And it certainly was interesting. We saw some nice individual players. But my question to you, as an analyst, is what does this mean for the rest of the tournament? With such a decisive victory under the belt of Rhyming with Dapo, do you think it's got to do with more of a team thing, or are there individuals that are outperforming others?
I think we certainly expected Dota and Dai side to be the front runners here, but once again, I think they shouldn't take away from what we're actually here to experience. I mean, this is really about the experience, the opportunity for these individuals to play against people like Dota and Dai. Yeah. He is kind of the hometown hero here, and you know, I'm not surprised he's going in all guns blazing. He's got to keep his reputation looking sharp, you know.
That one death, though.
One death. And that was the Suicide Panda, who has something to join. In fact, that was a solo kill, right? So one-on-one.
One-on-one.
Suicide Panda got it. So I don't think it takes away from it. I think one just has to keep in mind that we're here to see the gems. And the interesting thing is
the diamonds in the rough, as it were.
Yes, and I think before anybody kind of naysays and like, oh, whatever, one of the first times I saw Dota and Dai play was actually at KGL. I'd kind of seen him before as like a pub star at that, and I actually started calling Pocket Castaway at that point, as you may recall. It was actually from a KGL LAN where he performed really, really well, and now he plays for obviously Sin 5, and he's I mean, there's been a lot of shake-ups in SA esports this past
since
day.
then, yeah.
So, I mean, he may very well be in the strongest side in South Africa at the moment, because we don't know what Lead Pro has. If you haven't checked it already, obviously, WOG, at least as we knew it, no longer.
Yeah, so it's definitely an opportunity to see the diamonds in the rough and possibly polish up some of the diamonds that are already shining bright. But for the time being, from myself, Wilson, Triple XL, and my dear friend here, Halbert, we're going to have to bid you adieu and good night. But don't you worry, we will be back at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Do join us then. Jabba will be leading the charge there, and I'll take over a little bit after that. Do join us then. We'll see you there. Until then, good night.